That was the old. You remember the old YMHA?
The Davis one. My late mother lived on Esplanade. Imagine my dad, when he was young, they were on Esplanade. Then they
Near
moved
where?
Between Rachel and Duluth.
Well, yeah.
But then they moved in 1929 or 30 to St. Joseph. So as I grew up, my grandparents were on St. Joseph, near Hutchison.
Your
And they weren't
grandfather, your
parents.
grandparents were rich too to live on St. Joseph.
No,
Jerry.
my father's parents were comfortable.
Your
My
mother's?
mother's parents were very rich.
No joke. What did he
see.
do? Your grandfather, your mother's
He
father?
made gravestones.
Wow.
But he
What
was a
was
money
the
lender.
name?
But he was a money lender also.
Wow.
But he
Shylock.
lost a lot of his money in the
Stock
depression
market?
started, when the depression started.
Wow.
Gravestones, yeah. He was partners, and the guy who partners with that name, Burson.
Sure, Burson
Well,
on St. Lawrence Street.
It was Tomarken and Burson. They were partners.
Wow.
And had a very good business.
Yeah.
The only other competition was Gordon.
Gordon, I don't remember.
Yeah, Gordon.
Burson, I know.
Well, yeah. Well,
He's still there.
Liebman. Well, that came later.
I was friends with Normie
Yeah,
Liebman.
but that many years later.
Aren't they still there?
I don't know. Well, Norman took over from his father. His father
He
passed
went
on.
a little
Yeah.
shaky,
Now,
Normie. He's divorced.
But my grandfather and my mother's father and the partner Burson at that time were the biggest. But then during the Depression, my grandfather left. Well, you see, he was a money lender, and the wife, my late grandmother, my mother's mother, she really handled, you might say, the books. And she died suddenly in 1930. My mother was pregnant with me, actually, or 1928 or 20. Anyway, and her books were fucked up.
Wow.
So he didn't know the business was okay, the great stuff, but the money lending, they didn't know who owed who. So they were owed this. If I vaguely remember, you got to remember what the dollar was at that time. It was nothing. It's like 40 times as much today.
Wow, like $5, you were a wealthy guy.
They were owed about $100,000.
Wow.
And the family started trying to collect as best as they could without any really knowledge. They ended up getting about $7,000 or $8,000.
Wow.
That's like $5 million today.
Yeah.
At 100,000.
What
then,
was
right?
your mother's maiden name?
Tomarken, which is a real Russian name.
Tomarken?
Tomarken. No, Tomarkin. Tomarken.
No joke. I never. Wow.
But that was it was too. Well, I mean, that was life at that time. She died suddenly and got pneumonia within a day or two, and she took the knowledge to her grave as to what was. My grandfather, he was more a scholar. Like, he liked to be in shul all the time.
Yeah.
And he did the business. Actually, I think the one who really ran the business more was Burson.
Burson was on his name, Burson.
Well, it was Tomarken and Burson. That was the company.
Joe, I don't remember. I only remember
before
Burson.
You're too young to know.
Yeah.
Because they were out of business.
Well, you're
Who
not
ever
much-
thought I'd hear that? My father was too young.
Well, much
Yeah,
too
you're
young,
not
much
too
too
much.
young. Because
You
they
got 5
clo-
years on him, eh?
More.
Yeah, they closed the. How old are you?
82.
Oh, sure, I got more. I'll be turning 88 in September.
6 years.
7 years, almost 6.5.
No,
88
because
you're gonna be.
88 to 82 is 6 years.
Because
long.
But he's not there yet.
No, so he's
So?
only 5.5 years.
Six and a half.
No. My birthday is next month. It's in September, so I'm almost that age now.
You're
He's
87.
only
You're right.
87.
Sorry, you're right.
I'm
You're right.
87,
You're right.
I'll be
5.5.
But no, because from 1928, 29 on, by 1934, 35 already, he went out of the business. He was depressed. He was very sick. He had very bad health. And they lost all that money, not so much from the gravestones, but from the other. And then the family scattered. They all moved away, except my mother and her older brother. The rest, there were 8 children. They all moved away. One moved to New York.
Are you,
two to
are you
one to
close
California.
with your mother's family?
Well, there's nobody left. Who's
Nobody-
alive? How
nobody.
can anybody be alive? They'd be 110.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
is
Yeah,
that
and your
right?
father's family too?
Well, Harvey, if I'm turning 88, how can anybody be alive? Think.
Right.
Don't be a putz. Think
Wow,
now.
100.
Start thinking.
Yeah, my mother and father would be 100 years old.